She said, I went to the door, opened it, and said I couldn't believe it. She was naked on the floor with the pentacle done on chalk around her and black candles all the way around the pentacle. And she was actually doing witchcraft.
A hex is a curse, a spell, and it's used in witchcraft and voodoo.
Yeah, because voodoo in Africa, or Jamaica, especially around that area, they really do believe in it, and that so much so that if the doctor, the witch doctor, signs a bone at somebody or something like that, says you're going to die, they'll die, because they believe it that much that they are going to die.
Well, a curse is usually laid on a person for power and revenge. It's a spell that's intended to cause misfortune, harm, illness, or even death to the victim. And these spells, curses, do work quite effectively and quickly, although some can lie dormant for years. Any person can lay a spell, lay a curse on anyone, and the success of the spell depends on the actual curser. Now, the most powerful and dangerous curses are done by witches, warlocks, wizards, magicians, people like that. And now, a person that has been cursed, and they know they're being cursed, usually has this negative outlook. They feel that they're doomed, basically. And that gives the curse more power. In fact, it's mind over matter, most of it, isn't it? If you think it's going to work, then it will. There's other methods of cursing people, like they use dolls, figures. And what they do with these figures, they're usually made of wax, wood, clay, and they get items of clothing. Obviously these dolls represent this person, this victim that they want to curse. And they add bits of cloth to the doll, they add strands of hair from that person. They had like bits of fingernails, don't they? Even dust from footprints, apparently. And then they paint the doll up, again, trying to resemble this other person. And then they light fires, and then they burn the doll over the fire, which obviously causes suffering to this person. There's another method where they stick knives into the doll, or pins and needles, to obviously cause harm again to the person. But if they destroy the doll completely, then death will occur to this person. This is usually quite popular in places like India, Egypt, South Africa.
I got a phone call one night, and she came from a little village just outside Scarborough. We'll call her Audrey for purpose, because we do keep the name as confidentiality. So I said, what's up then, Audrey? She says, I'm seeing ghosts, laughing and all sorts. She said, I don't know what's happening, would you come down? So I gave you a ring, didn't I, to Christine. Yeah. I said, Christine, would you like to go, and we'll go down and see her? So you was eager, weren't you? So we went down, we arranged a date, went down to see her. And that's when you had a word with her, because you always do the investigations, don't you?
Yeah, I'd asked her basically what had been happening, and she said she's been hearing banging noises, things have been moved about. She's been hearing voices, like whispering, and someone laughing. And she said this all started a few months ago, and it's gradually got worse. She said she's told her family about it, and her family's just said, oh, it's in your head, you know, you're imagining it. She even told her friends about it, and they said oh, you're imagining it. So basically, this is why she called us in. So I basically says to her, well, have you been using a Ouija board? You know, she said, no, I haven't been doing anything like that. I said, have you been practicing witchcraft? She says, no. So I said, well, we've got to ask you another question now, don't be offended. I said, do you take drugs, or have you got any medication you take? And do you drink heavily? And she says, no, to all the questions. So I thought that rules that out then. So obviously we began the investigation. So I set the video cameras up, dictaphone, we went round each room, didn't we, individually.
You even got your EMF meter out?
I got my EMF meter out. That sometimes tells us if there's any electromagnetic energy in the area, because spirits, they actually use electromagnetic energy to manifest. So there was a good chance that we may pick something up with the EMF meters, but we didn't, did we?
No, nothing.
We didn't seem to
Nothing
pick
at all.
anything up at the time. So after the investigation, on the way home, I said
You said to me that.
yeah, I said to him, it's a bit odd really. She's saying all this is happening, but she hasn't done anything to bring it in, but we didn't get anything, as far as I know.
Well, you said the same as me, that she's adding something.
Yes, yeah, that's
what
right.
we both thought,
yeah.
didn't we?
But anyway, I got home and I went through the recordings, as I normally do, and there was one piece of recording on my dictaphone which was a disembodied voice I'd captured, and it was basically swearing at me. If you'd like to speak on the dictaphone, please. So I knew it was something negative, so I got in touch with Vic, didn't I? And I said, well, I've only captured one disembodied voice. It's basically swearing at me, so it's not some type of confused earthbound spirit that's trying to, plead, help me, sort of thing. So I said, we need to go back to see her because I don't think she's been honest with us. So we actually decided to go back to see her.
But when we got back to this lady, we did say to her, are you being honest with us? Because we did hear a voice on it. We said, you've got to tell us the truth, what's been going on. So she said, well, I had this friend that came from abroad and she'd been staying for about 2 to 3 months. And she said she'd just been living rent-free. She hasn't paid a penny or anything. She says, even when we go to fish shop, I'm paying the bill all the time. She says, I'm a bit fed up of it. I'd like to get her out. But she said, what the strange thing was, and we're coming to the main thing now, she said, it was late at night and I got up to go to the toilet. She said, and I heard a whisper come from the spare bed. It was like, just like that. And she said, I went to the door, the bedroom door, opened it, and said I couldn't believe it. She was naked on the floor with a pentacle done on chalk round her and black candles all the way around the pentacle. And she was actually doing witchcraft. Well, that lady was a devout Christian, wasn't she? And she said to him, out, I want you out. So she said, I'll go in morning. And she slammed the door in her face and swore at her. Next morning, this woman went, and down the way out she said, I'm going to curse you. She said, you don't know what you've done, you don't know who you're dealing with. Something like that she was on about, wasn't she? And things started happening, whispering, things being moving about, banging, voices, the lot, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's when it all started.
That's how it started. So I had not done many hexes, I've only done 3 in my career of doing this. And I have a prayer, and I said this particular prayer, and we said the Archangel Michael prayer as well.
Yes, we always say that, don't we? Yeah.
And it went. We got rid of it. We believe we sent the case back to the person who sent it, and they usually say it goes back tenfold, don't they? So that's the story of that one.